Hi guys, good afternoon. Arlene here. How are you doing today? I hope you're all fine. So just to help you pronounce my family name correctly, it's Arlene Libandowski. So the letter W is pronounced as V as in victory. So it's Libandowski. So today it's a Thursday afternoon. It's a little bit windy and chilly in Lipa. So I think it's because there's typhoon and because still of the southwest monsoon or hang habagat as we call it. So today I want to discuss about my life before I met my foreign husband, my German husband. Okay, so as you know, I was separated from my first husband before, and then I get annulment in 2015. Okay, so I already discussed the annulment procedure and how I did it. So I hope that segment or that video help those who really need to file their annulment or who wanna get their freedom back. So okay, today let me start with something. How can I say this? With my education. Okay, so I graduated Bachelor of Science in Elementary Education, major in preschool, in a Catholic school from Batangas City. They call it St. Bridget College. So I was there for 3.5 years and I was able to get my degree. And I was teaching from private school, and then finally I was able to settle on a public school in my hometown. So that was very good because it's just a sort of walking distance to the school in the afternoon after work, and in the morning I had to take jeepney from home to the school. Before I met my husband, I was separated from my first husband because of some marital issues, right? So as you know, marriage is not easy, and it always takes two people to work it out. So during that time, I was teaching in Thailand as an English teacher, and I was trying to get a contract from one of the English schools there in Thailand. And then I met my husband. He flew to Bangkok, and then we stayed together for like I think 3 weeks. So he stayed in Bangkok with me. So it was sort of, before meeting in Bangkok, we were already Skyping for like, I don't know, 6 weeks or something. And yeah, it was like those moments that you feel you find the right person, you know. So it was how can I say, what is the right word? It was like whirlwind romance, you know. I happened to know him quite well. We were Skyping day and night. Actually, I was in Bangkok, Thailand, and he was in Brazil during the time for work. So he asked for a short vacation just to visit me. And then yeah, when I saw him from the airport, it was just like, oh my god, that is that's the person I want to spend my life with, you know. So it was that moments of truth that I realized, okay, if I will settle down, then it should be him, you know. But during that time I was still married to my first um, to my ex-husband. So I had to go back to the Philippines to settle uh, that that and to get my freedom back, so I'm able to move forward with my life. So as for my ex-husband, when I arrived in the Philippines, actually he was already with another lady and already had a child, so it was not a problem, you know. I don't say that it's generally speaking in the Philippines that yeah, it can happen something like that. But yeah, it's true, you know. When one member of the family, like husband or wife, will go abroad, there are possibilities that you know, other partner will look for somebody else, something like that. And yeah, it can create a ripple effect on the marriage, or it can make or break the relationship. But during that time, our marriage was already broken before I even left for Singapore, so there's nothing to be broken, you know, there's nothing to break anymore. So okay. And yeah, I guess during the time we're already both happy with our lives, because he was with another lady, and I was with Oliver, so it was actually all good. So um, and then Oliver and I, we rented an apartment, so in Lipa City, actually in the main city, but we have to move to another place because it's crowded for us. So we moved actually only 2 times, and then we finally bought this house. So it was really a short story. Actually, it's not like, oh, you know, we we are not in a very long distance relationship for like years, you know. But of course now it's just like he's working 3 months and he's coming home for 1 month vacation in the Philippines, or he's working like 8 weeks, oh no, sorry, 9 weeks, and then he's coming back for 3 weeks holiday. So actually it's perfect, you know. So there's not so much about my past life before him. Actually, before, I would say that my life before was just simple, you know. I had to work, I had to provide for my son. I was yeah, I didn't get to visit many places, but oh, this is something I should not forget. Actually, um yeah, I had to work abroad before I was working in Thailand. I was working before in Singapore as a domestic worker, right? So I told you about it because I didn't have the chance to find the teaching position because of my diploma, or the school I graduated was not accredited by the Singaporean government. So I had to be employed by a Chinese lady. I will not mention her name. And I had only stayed with her for from uh, January to September, so that is basically 9 months. So she's a single lady around, during that time she's like 55 years old. She's living in a condo, in a very nice condo, you know, where the rich people are living. And I had only to clean the house and to feed her cats during the day. She had 5 cats, and I had to feed stray cats at night at 10 o'clock in the evening. Actually, that is against the Singaporean government, you know, because they are not encouraging wild or stray cats to populate, you know, because when you give them food, then they are prolonging their lives, and in that way they are, yeah, constantly growing and mating, and they multiply, right? So that's against the Singaporean government. So yeah, there was one incident that I was bitten by the cat, not from the outside but inside the house, that I had to go to the hospital. And yeah, she took me to the hospital, and it was for like 3 weeks that my whole left arm was swollen. So she had to feed the stray cats outside by herself. So that is one reason why I was not happy, you know. So actually I intend to leave her, to left her employment, but I think she was also thinking the same. And then she terminated my contract without without informing me. So yeah, So this is a funny story, right? So one night she was coming back home, and then she told me, "Oh, Arlene, you have to pack your things and you have to fly to tonight." And I was like, "Oh, why you didn't inform me like 2 days that I can really buy something for my family in the Philippines, right?" And actually it was bad because I told her, like, I came here to Singapore with a tourist visa. I paid for my own ticket, you know. So the least that you can do is inform me that you will terminate my contract, that I have the possibility to get another employer, you know. So in that way, for me, you know, she was just very inconsiderate. It's not easy. Of course, it's not easy to find another employer, but I will have some possibilities, right? So yeah, I was packing my stuff. I had only one suitcase and I have a backpack and a small bag. And then, you know what she did? After I packed everything nicely, she went into the room. We had separate rooms. I had my own room and she had her room. And then we had one toilet, shower and bath in the outside, and then she had her own shower and bath. So she told me to go into the bathroom, and then she was going in my room, and then she was checking my luggage, everything. She tossed everything, you know, thinking like I stole something. So that was very degrading and inhuman, you know. For me, it's just like, you know, I may be just a domestic worker for you, but I am proud to say that I am not you know, I'm not a cheater, or I will not rob something because it's not mine, you know. I'm honest. So it was like I felt like, you know, my human rights were not were not observed properly. So I was like really shocked, and you know, I had this delayed reaction. I was shocked and I was a little bit crying, and then then she asked me, she was checking everything, and then she asked me to come back in the room. So I had to go back and I had to pack everything again. And then I called my friend. So I called my friend and I said, "Ate, my employer told me that I have to fly to the Philippines today, but I wanna stay here because you know, I was complaining about her, and because my neighbor knows my situations, you know, with my employer." So I was like, okay, I wanna get another employer because I still need to send money to the Philippines, you know. So she said, okay, uh, the least that you can do is not to board the plane, and we will help you to get another employer. So yeah, for me, okay, that's just hope. And so but I was like, I wasn't able to find any possibility to escape, you know, because she was coming with her boyfriend, a Malaysian guy. And it was not easy. So I was carrying my suitcase and then going down because the car was parked on the basement, and the boyfriend was you know, was walking with me, and he asked me, "Oh, Arlene, what you gonna do, because now you have to go back to the Philippines?" And I told him, I said, "Look, this is not right what your girlfriend is doing, because I didn't do anything wrong. The least that she can do is inform me 2 weeks in advance that I can find another employer, you know, because I have a son to support in the Philippines." And then actually he said, "Yeah, I agree with you, but you know, when she made up her mind, you cannot change it, right?" So I was just quiet. So I was sitting on the back side of the car, and they were in front, and then they were talking, and then they brought me to the airport. Actually, it's not Changi International Airport, it's the smaller airport, because my flight was from Singapore to Clark, and then Singapore to Clark. But I was very far. So actually, when I found out, we were in the car, and I told her, "Where is my ticket? Can I see it?" And then she said, "Oh, you have to fly to Clark." I said, "Clark? Why? even the ticket, you cannot, why you cannot do it right, you know? It has to be in Manila because Clark is like 4 hours away, right? So it's, you know, for me it's just like, you are sending me home, but yeah, you got the wrong ticket for me, and then I have to go back and I have to drive all the way 4 hours down just to go to Manila. What's, you know, what's wrong with you? You can't even ask. So are you really that angry at me, or you're really upset about me that you can do something like this? So it was really horrible. And then yeah, and then when we were at the airport, uh yeah, she I was checked actually. Yeah, I have this, we have to wait for checking time because the board gate, the check-in counter was yet not opened, still not open. So but she gave me already my passport, and then I said, look, I have to go to toilet, right? So the boyfriend had my luggage, and she gave me my passport already, so I put it already in my bag. And then when I was in the toilet, it was my chance to escape from her, you know. So yeah, I was in the toilet. Then yeah, after the toilet, I was wearing these high-heeled shoes. It's not very high, just only like this, but I'm not really used to it. So I was running away from the toilet outside the airport, and she was chasing me. So I grabbed a taxi. So the taxi already was running, but she was going on the right side, and then I had to go out on the left side. And then yeah, I was running, and then she was chasing me. And then I come to the point where there are like bushes, right? Because that's already the end. And actually after these bushes, I remember that's already the national highway. So I was crawling under the bushes, and yeah, there she wasn't able to follow me, because yeah, I don't think a Chinese lady will do something like that. And then when I was on the highway, after 2-3 minutes, I was able to get a taxi, and I called my friend, and she asked me, okay, you have to go to this address that is a Philippine embassy. And then her boyfriend was coming to pick me up, and then I was brought by the boyfriend to her place. And then the next day I was going to Lucky Plaza. That is it's a mall, shopping mall, where all the Filipinos are going together every Sunday. So it's just like a sort of Filipino community. So I was going there to Lucky Plaza with my friend, and then she helped. Yeah, I was there to report to home, you know, this humanitarian organization for immigration economics. So I was there in the office, and I had to report what she did to me, which is against the Singaporean government, you know, because she placed me in a dangerous situation where I have to feed the cats outside at 10 o'clock in the evening, and I have to do it in 2 streets. So I cannot remember the name of the streets, but I have to do it like in this highway, and the other one is a little bit on that highway. So it's just like every night I have to walk like going back and forth. It's just like 4 kilometers every night. So yeah, so home helped me against my case against her. So September, October, November, and then finally by December they said sorry, but this is her only first offense against a domestic worker, so nobody complained about her. Although I know the 3 domestic workers were complaining about this, but they were not able to make it to the police. So I was the first one who reported her to the police. So I'm the only one on record. So after 3 months of staying at a shelter in Singapore owned by Home, then I was able to let go. So yeah, that was a horrible experience in Singapore. But the good thing about it is that when I was with home, I was able to get some friends. I get friends with Sister Bridget, with Sister Kayoko, and then when I came back here, I I built a Spirit of Home Scalabrini Incorporated in the Philippines. I managed it for 3 years before I left for Thailand to become an English teacher. So it's yeah, actually it's a lesson learned in Singapore, and there's really a lot of things that I must say that some sort of discrimination against Filipino women, and women particularly. And yeah, you're like, she was very rude, and how can I say, this employer is like very rude and grumpy, and like, you know saying like, oh, I know that you just passed the licensure examinations for teachers because you cheated on it. How can you cheat something like that, right? And for me it's just like, yeah, so you think you're the only person in the world who knows how to understand things and who's smart, because she was the general manager and accountant of her firms, so she's really smart. And aside from taking care of her cats and feeding the stray cats, I still also have to collect uh, newspapers from the garbage dump 2 times a week, from the whole condo building. So that's really like, like are you the trash girl, something like that. And I have to walk like another 5 kilometers, yeah, going back and forth to fetch newspapers from her father's house. The father was also very rude, and one time I remember it was Chinese New Year, so they had a lot of these mandarin oranges, right? So normally I don't take any of it because it's not mine. But the Filipino domestic worker said that, Arlene, you can take one because in a day or two they will already be rotten. So just take one. Anyway, we will throw them tomorrow. So I was just taking one, but I was not eating it because, yeah, for me it's just like, okay, I will take one. But the father complained about it and said like, I I was, how can I say, I was taking the orange for me without letting her father know about it. And I was just like, that's just a rotten orange. So for me it's just like, why I have to be treated like that? It's just an orange, it's rotten, and it's just like, how much it costs, right? For us it's just like, you know we are Filipinos. We are not cheaters. We are not robbing banks or something. It's just an orange. Oh my god. And now Juicy is a little bit unhappy. She's biting me. So guys, that's how my life is when I was not yet married to my foreigner husband. So I was working before in Singapore as a domestic worker with this lady, and then I was coming back to the Philippines. I was working with NGO Soho for 3 years, and I was working in Bangkok for 6 months or so. And then I was coming back again to the Philippines, and then there was this time with Oliver. So yeah, finally I know things happens for a reason. So it will happen just because God is punishing you or something, or God is teaching you a lesson. Actually I don't know, but I think for me it's just like, you have to live in that moment, and every trials or hindrances or obstacle on your way, it doesn't matter. You have to face it, and the moment you're out of it, you become a stronger person, and this will help you navigate your life for something better, right? It's not like I'm always thinking, okay, this is just for today, tomorrow will be better. I think that sort of attitude changed my life, because I experienced uh, most of the hardships that maybe some of you have not experienced, but I can say those things made me stronger in a way. You know, I had cancer, but I was only crying for 3 to 4 days. Of course, sometimes I'm a little bit crying, but at the end of the day, I was saying to myself, there's still a lot of things I should be celebrating about, you know. So those are my past. I am embracing them, because those are parts of me. I cannot just delete them, and at the end of the day, they are part of me. So yeah, this is who I am, and those made me stronger. So thank you so much, guys. I hope you like my story for today. Actually, really life experiences. I'm not laughing about it. So maybe you can learn something out of it. I hope you do. And see you next time. Have a nice evening. Bye bye.